Let's see, there seems to be a huge lag. Chat. All right. Let's see. Get the top chat. All right. All right. I wonder how much lag there is. Let me see. Move this here. Yeah, this should be good. How do you move this? All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. Just if you guys are in the chat, just let me know. Send me a message so I can see. Okay, I have to turn off the desktop audio. Okay, I have to restart the stream because of the echo. Let me see. Testing, testing. Okay, great. Okay, so I can see your message, Akira, and hopefully there's no echo problem. All right, because yesterday I was testing everything out and I was running into a bunch of echo problems. All right, so let me just make sure the stream link should be in the other live stream. I have okay, so I have like 8 different YouTube windows open, so it's really confusing. But I think all right, so I think this should be good. All right, there are a few more people. I think they got lost. I wonder where they went. Um, 3 waiting. Okay. So I set that up. Okay, to live stream. All right. All right, so Akira, where are you from? Because I know you post a lot. You always give me nice comments, so just curious where you're from. Ah, wow, Greece. Okay, okay. I have not been to Greece yet. Okay. I've been meaning to go, so when I get a chance, I definitely want to go to Greece. Wow. All right. So this live chat is pretty cool, and it's pretty cool that I get to interact with people from all over the world. Yeah, no, Akira's it's from the that anime, the movie. That really famous anime. I can't even think at the top of my head, but um, the really famous anime movie. All right. Okay. So we have another one from Mexico. Wow, this is pretty cool. So Greece and Mexico. Oh, Dragon Ball. Okay. So it's okay. So it's the character design from Dragon Ball. Yeah. Okay. So he's also known for I think Dragon Quest. He did all the character designs for Dragon Quest as well. All right. So yeah. So we have another one from Mexico. Wow, that's another place I've been meaning to go as well. This is pretty cool. All right. So the keyboard I have is the Microsoft um, 4000, I think, ergonomics. I'm kind. It's kind of dusty, so but I'll show you guys. So I actually want to try these the split keyboards. They're supposed to be very good for your hands. So ergonomically, but it's kind of expensive. I forget the exact brand. It's actually not that bad. It's if you look at it, it's slanted down. It's hard to show you, but so it's not really. So that helps keep your wrists. That helps keep your wrists in a sort of slanted down position. So it's more ergonomically comfortable. And long term, it's supposed to be better. I don't know. So okay, so you guys, so far it's 2 of you in the chat. There's 6 watching. The rest of you guys that are watching. So where are the rest of you guys from? If you guys are not too shy. Okay, I can't tell if there's. I know there's a lag between what I'm saying and what's getting outputted into the stream. Okay, so 3 people have disappeared since I've asked that question. But let's see. Maybe okay. So okay, so you two, how long have you guys been studying Python, and how are you? And how are you using Python? What are your goals with Python? Ah, 1 month. Okay. So what within Python, what are you interested in? Because there's a broad spectrum of topics: data analysis, machine learning, deep learning, um, web design, etc. So, is there a specific sort of area that you're interested in? Embedded system also with and electronics with Raspberry Pi as well. So there's a lot of interesting fields within Python. There are enough of good makers of programming to. Yeah, I was debating that. Um, I feel like there's it's been saturated. There's so many programming tutorials now. Um, let's see. The last 2 years, I discovered Python programming to do. So, Akira, so what field are you interested in within Python? So going back to Potato Love, yeah, I've noticed that there's so many Python programming tutorials. So not sure. I might just probably I'll have to think about it. Maybe just do like interesting scripts with my channel because that's still fun. And focus the rest. I can just focus on personal projects and other freelance stuff. So I'll have to see. But you're right. I've noticed there's just so many more Python programming tutorials now on YouTube. As for physis, right, I'm trying to build that lets me do trigonometry conversion, simplify. Trigonometry, what do you mean? What part of trigonometry? Okay. So I have worked around with machine learning with Keras, and last month I'm learning Django. I've worked around with machine learning. Yeah, Keras is actually really simple to use. I've been using it for maybe a year and a half. I've used it. I've been trying to go on to TensorFlow and PyTorch because some of the models I'm trying to create now are going to be more complicated. So I'm exploring that, PyTorch and TensorFlow, but I'm also relearning a lot of the math. So I've been spending a lot of time recently with linear algebra, then probability, um, then information theory, game theory, and then eventually some of the higher maths like topology, etc. Because I think the field is going to go there as well. So there's a lot of math you got to get really good at when once you start wanting to build more custom models. Raspberry Pi, I think, is going to be huge. Raspberry Pi and Arduino. Actually, I want to make. Let's see. Yeah. So, sorry. Every time a new comment comes in, my train of thought gets starts reading the comment instead. But yeah, I think Raspberry Pi is going to be pretty big, especially when you mix it with computer vision and some of the deep learning aspects. So that's actually stuff I wanted to explore with Raspberry Pi and Arduino. And I think those are going to be big in the future. Robotics is going to be something big. It's still not as accessible, I feel like, but it's one of those fields I think is going to be huge in the future. Potato Love. It will be more productive to work as a personal instructor of sorts. Maybe Udemy even. Much love, man, but maybe give up on YouTube and switch to another area. Yes. So I'm actually going to be releasing. So I'm actually going to be releasing my Udemy course on multi-threading. I've updated everything and yeah, so I've updated everything, worked on the animations, getting the audio done. So it should be done, but now I have to review the audio and see if the guy did a good job. But that's one course, and then there'll be a few courses I'm trying to release. I'm working on as well, so we'll see. Am I thinking of stopping tutorials in YouTube? I think I'm trying to find something, maybe more of something different than what everyone else is doing. I feel like it's saturated. Like Potato Love said, there's so many YouTube tutorials on Python. So I spent a lot of time on logging, and the last few videos, logging especially with the animations and the illustrations and all that. And I think I'm not sure what people are looking for. Maybe it's so saturated now that people are looking for something more unique or something different. So if I'm going to be spending so much time, I'd rather it be something that's, I guess, more appealing to the audience. Let's see. First, let me go. What do you think about a MicroPython? I have actually not used MicroPython, so I'll have to look into that. Let me just do a quick Google with one hand. All right, so MicroPython is a lean and efficient implementation. All right, so this is interesting. Okay, it's written in C. Hmm. All right, so it's very similar to Arduino. This is very interesting, actually. Let's see. Here we go. All right, yeah. So I have to actually look into MicroPython. It looks interesting. When I start playing around with Raspberry Pi and Arduino, it's something I'll look into as well. All right, so Potato Love, you're a good tutor, so why not put it in good use somewhere else where it will be more appreciated? I've seen so many job openings at university, even online universities. Actually, if I don't do focus much more on YouTube, I actually want to work on some projects. So I have actually a lot of projects or problems that I want to work on, and I kind of want to. I'm actually interested more in research, so I've been debating about going back to school. There's two fields I want to apply to, maybe the health field, or solve more general artificial intelligence problems. So we'll see. That's why I'm relearning all the things from scratch, all the math, and I want to be able to apply it to sort of interesting problems that not too many people are working on. I basically I just want to see society progress, everything get easier. Um, so yeah, I kind of want to work on problems that there's not too much research going into, so that it's more balanced out. All right, physics. Cover other areas of Python where yes, actually yeah. So I've been I'm trying to find. I'm not really sure what other areas people don't do tutorials on. Like in the micro Python area, not much people are in the field. Most tutorials are really bad. Okay, that's actually something I've been wanting to look into. So microcontrollers. So that's actually something I may be able to do. I'll look into. You said Py MicroPython. Yes. So I'm definitely going to look into this now and try to create some. Depending how easily I pick it up, I'll try to create some tutorials on this. But yeah, I love sensors and just the fact that we can do more physical things. Right now, with programming, everything so far we've been doing is stuck in the digital world for the most part. But to be able to apply that to machines and outside, to handle some everyday tasks, that would be pretty cool. So that's another field I'm actually really interested in is microcontrollers. So MicroPython is something I'll look into. Um, so it seems they have their own microcontrollers as opposed to Raspberry Pi. I know Arduino uses C language. So what's the difference between MicroPython and Raspberry Pi? I'm assuming Raspberry Pi is just much stronger. Okay, Potato Love. If you have enough qualifications, maybe apply at that new AI company. Oh no, yeah. So those guys are like the top of the top. I don't have enough qualifications for that. I think you're talking about OpenAI. So yeah, they hire some of like the top guys in the field. But actually, I want to explore more. There's AI fields outside of deep learning as well. So I'm trying to get a more sort of a feel for these other fields and see, trying to get an understanding of where AI could be headed. I know, like I said earlier, topology. They're trying to apply topology to uh, deep learning, and I know they're working on backpropagation because it's still problematic, using backpropagation to what do you say, to train your model. Yeah. So I'll have to explore, but right now I have to learn so much math, so that's what I'm focusing on, and we'll see. As I get better math, I'm getting more and more ideas of how to apply or create new algorithms for deep learning. But yeah, the AI companies, Elon Musk's company hires like the top guys in the field. So, all right, we have one more person, Sayaka. Hey, Sayaka. Okay. So, Potato Love, what do you do? How are you using Python? Okay. Thank you, Sayaka. So yeah, I actually have a dual monitor setup. I actually had three monitors, but when I built a different PC, I set up a monitor over there. But yeah, definitely going 2 to 3 monitors is so much more helpful. Three is actually probably the best setup that I've used so far. I actually want to try four with another monitor on top, but we'll see. Um, all right. So apart from my YouTube channel, what else are you in? So I do financial investments. So I've been doing that for a while. I've been cutting back, and so I've been focusing on YouTube right now, and so mainly trading investments for people. So uh, I've been doing that for a while, but actually that's how I got into Python. I used to listen to a lot of NVIDIA's conference calls, and they kept talking about machine learning, and I'm like, what is that? And I had a cousin who actually graduated um, a while back with a master's in machine learning. So I was talking to him for a while, and he told me, and that's how I kind of got into programming. So I want to apply that to some financial investments. Still haven't done that. It's funny. I started that in the beginning, and then I moved to like different applications. Computer vision was something I got really interested in for a bit, and so I still have to finish that app, um, which I kind of slacked off on. But yeah, so for you, besides YouTube, I've been focusing on the financial stuff, and let's see. So recently, I've been trying to do the courses. I've been working on a few courses, and there's a couple of other uh, businesses I'm trying to start up and run. That's outside of programming. So I'm working on a bunch of things. So we'll see. Pretty much trying to see which ones um, take off and which ones fail. So I'm giving myself a little cushion just in case one doesn't work out well. I can do other things. All right. Physics. Let's see. Mac, Linux, Windows, iOS. So it's a computer vision app that I've been working on iOS. I actually learned iOS. I had taken a year off from YouTube. During that time, I was learning iOS, and I built a prototype, but it's not good enough. So with deep learning, to really create something production ready is hard. You need a ton of data because the current algorithms don't work that well. So you can get to 90, 95%, but it's still not good enough. It still makes a lot of mistakes when trying to classify things. So um, I've been trying different new algorithms and trying to get it to production ready, but it's been tough. So actually, that's why one of the reasons I had to put it off. I just couldn't solve some of the problems, and I needed to learn more. Needed to build more needed to build more knowledge in deep learning, start from scratch, so I could kind of build my own algorithms and test them out. But I am hoping I'm going to be spending a lot of time these next few months after I release some of the courses. So I'm hoping I can get it somewhat production ready, but we'll see. Ah, okay. So currently, yeah. So I have Windows. I'm mainly using Windows. Um, I have Linux or Ubuntu set up on the other computer, but I haven't been using as much. I was using it on an older PC, but I want to go to Ubuntu, but I have too much software on Windows that I use regularly. Some of the financial software. So I don't know if you're not using Mac OS. Linux seems kind of bare bones. Well, especially Ubuntu, but I don't know. Mac is just it's kind of expensive, and then you're stuck in their ecosystem if you use Mac. But I know a lot of programmers, most of them use Mac, so I don't know. But yeah, I have to definitely get Ubuntu started because there's a lot of especially deep learning stuff that it you have to use Ubuntu. Some of the releases for Windows are late. I remember with TensorFlow and PyTorch, the releases would come out kind of late. So um, that's one of the reasons I was trying to switch and get more comfortable with Ubuntu. So I was using it for a while, but um, my old PC died, so my new PC I got it up and started, but I haven't been using it on my new PC. What should I do? I don't want to go to university, but I want to work later as a software engineer. Okay. Well, if you want to work as a software engineer, the main thing I would do is you need to create a portfolio. I'm actually, since I'm kind of running different businesses and I've actually tried to hire people. So I go on some of these sites and try to hire, say, freelancers for software. Or so for my iOS app, I might actually have someone finish it up and do a much better job than I could. So I actually look around and try to hire people. And what I notice is a lot of people don't have a nice portfolio. You need to have a portfolio that shows that you understand how to um, do software engineering. So um, self-learning is kind of easy, but you need to have a nice portfolio. And it depends on what part of software engineering you're interested in. If you're interested in web development, you should have really nice sites that you can show to your prospective employers. So definitely you need to have a portfolio. So many people don't have a portfolio, and I can't tell what you're capable of if you don't have a portfolio. So definitely do that, and you have to learn how to work with people. Now, when you do your personal projects, you do everything alone, but when you work at a company, you have to really know how to work with people. So you should be familiar with all the tools they use, Git, GitHub, or so collaboration is a big thing. Code reviews, and so definitely you want to get comfortable with that. I would start collaborating with people and create projects. Um, but let's see. And if you want to go startups, if you want to start up your own company, that's another option. Always find people that are specialized. You want to meet people that are specialized in different fields. So whether it be a physicist, a chemist, a biologist, or deep learning, you want to collaborate with people and create interesting projects because that's one of the things I've been learning. You can't do everything on your own. So I try to learn like say iOS and if I want to learn web development and AI stuff, it's just too much. There's just so much depth in each subject that you kind of want to get good at one field and then try to connect with other people that are good in other fields and collaborate and create a really nice project. All right. Software engineer is different from software developer. No, I think they're just the same thing. Software engineer, software developer. I think it's the same terminology or the same meaning, just two different ways of saying it. So let's see. Are you also interested in web services? Yes, I think web services are going to get huge. Uh, so I think AI is going to be used a lot in these web services to perform certain tasks. So I try to play around with Flask. Web services is pretty interesting. Playing around with Flask. Akira said he wants to use Django. I think these are pretty cool frameworks because you get to see the final product. A lot of times with Python, you can only write scripts, and then the scripts are sort of stuck locally. But when you're able to put it out in the world, like the World Wide Web, um, using Flask or Django, it's pretty cool. You get to see other people using your services. And I think AI is going to be used a lot in some of these web services. But it's really complicated. I think it moves faster than any other field. They just have so many new frameworks, and there's a lot to learn. I got comfortable with HTML, but CSS is it just seems so awkward to me that it will take some time to really learn. Flask is pretty cool. I was going to release a tutorial on a deep learning model, how to deploy it using Flask, and it's just a simple classifier. So I was working on that. But yeah, Flask is pretty cool. I haven't played around with the Django yet. I haven't played around with the Django yet. But there's also another service called Hugo, static site generator that I played around with, and that's also pretty cool, pretty easy to use. But it's the backend is Go, which seems to be another popular language. Okay. Next question. Why the name PyMoondra? So Moondra is my last name, and then I just decided to add Py, like Python Moondra. In the future, if I'm going to create maybe a channel on Julia, another language I'm interested in is Julia and Rust. So if I maybe create a future channel, maybe I'll have like PyRust or PyJulia. Not PyRust, but like Rust Moondra or something similar. So we'll see. IDE. Okay, yeah. So I actually still use the vanilla Python shell. What is it called? Idle. I still use Idle because most of my scripts are like, or Jupyter Notebook. I mainly use Jupyter Notebook, but sometimes I use Idle. I've been trying to get to PyCharm. I've played around with Atom, Sublime Text. I also wanted to try out Vim because I like very simple text editors. PyCharm, it just felt so noisy, but I'm going to actually put in a lot of effort into these as because my code is getting so much more bigger on these projects I'm working on, so I'll have to switch around and see. But a lot of times with scripting, I just use Idle. I don't know, it just seems simple to me, and yeah, so it's just worked for me. I don't know. Even if I have projects, like some of them, I like to actually break up my projects into small scripts. And so, I don't know, it seems easy to me when I break them up into small modules or small scripts that I don't really have a problem. But I know there's a lot of benefits with using an IDE, and as my projects get bigger, I really have to learn those. Jupyter Notebook. Okay, I always hear about Jupyter. So Jupyter Notebook is really good for deep learning. Or you have Google Colab now, which is similar to Jupyter Notebook, but it so most of if you watch my videos, most of them are done in Jupyter Notebook. So you can run different parts of your codes in what are called cells. So the first cell, so I can import everything, just then run the cell, and each cell is self-contained. So it's really good for data analytics and deep learning models to test out things. So it's very, very good for testing out things. Because you can run parts of your code over and over, as opposed to when you run your scripts, you have to run the entire thing. Here, with Jupyter Notebook, you could break them up into different parts called cells, and you can run each cell separately. So it's very good for debugging and testing as well. So yeah, definitely check it out. So all my videos are basically done in Jupyter Notebook. Each cell is ran, and I could break it up to, especially for lessons, I could break up everything and teach each part of the lesson part by part or separately. And the other cool thing is you can use Markdown within Jupyter Notebook. So it's really good for presentations as well. You can add images and graphs, etc. So um, I was actually trying to do a deep dive on Jupyter Notebook because there's so many features that data scientists use that I've been reading about. So I wanted to do a deep dive to basically show you guys some of the features of Jupyter Notebook, and I wanted to learn some of the more obscure features of Jupyter Notebook. All right. What do you suggest for free hosting service and free domain service? Just there to learn about. All right. So if you're using Heroku, there is Flask. Not Flask. I'm sorry. If you're using Flask, sorry, I confused it too. If you're using Flask, there's something called Heroku that is supposed to be the best for free hosting. Now there's also Netlify. Let me write that. So these are the two. Sorry. Netlify. So these are the two I know. When I was playing around with Hugo, everyone was telling me to deploy with Netlify. And I think you can use this with Flask as well. I think it's pretty new. So this Netlify, I think Netlify is pretty new, but it can be used with a variety of frameworks, and I think Flask is one of them. Maybe even Django, I'm not sure. But these are the two that I've been looking to. Heroku is very popular. I have a cousin that does web development, and he actually recommended use Heroku with Flask. So those are the two I know of. But yeah, when you create something with Django, let me know. Let's see. So I'll answer the second question quickly. Do they have free use? Yeah, so you can use them both for free. Of course, there's certain limitations as to, I think, the amount of requests maybe. But yeah, they both have free. Uh, they're both free, or they have a free category as opposed to a paid version, which allows you. I'm not sure exactly what the extra benefits are from the paid version. But yeah, there's of course a lot of benefits to the paid version, but yes, they do have free versions. Okay. I still don't know much Python. What do you suggest me to learn that will be a benefit? That'll benefit me in the future. Okay. So what are you? It depends what you're interested in Python. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell right now because so deep learning, like there's a huge movement, something called Swift for TensorFlow, and Google is seems like it's trying to get away from Python and get into Swift for deep learning, and then there's Julia for deep learning as well. So, and they're going to be specializing. For Swift, it's going to be down. They're, I think, rewriting the compiler to be more AI friendly, to be able to do some calculations. I know it's kind of technical, but I know a lot of movement is going towards these other languages because it's hard to develop in Python. Especially you have to rely on a backend like C, C++. So they're trying to be able to do everything in one language, and I know that's why that's one of the reasons they're moving to Swift. It'll be easier instead of having to rely on two languages, and they can make those changes to the compiler, which I think is somehow needed. I don't know if it's for automatic differentiation, but there's something that needs to be done at the compile level that Google's doing with Swift. So as for the future, it's hard to tell. I know like the Django and Flask seem to be pretty strong, and I think they'll continue being strong. Data analytics for big data, I think I know they're using like Hadoop um, and and different sort of languages for when you have to deal with really big data. So, but I know Pandas is used as well. I think within financial firms. So it's hard to tell. I know that with data analytics, Python is still pretty big. So I would just say experiment with different fields and see what you're interested in. You're probably going to have to learn a couple of languages in addition to Python, depending on what gets popular and depending on what the company you're working for wants to learn. But yeah, just experiment with different fields if you don't know too much and work on projects. Basically, um, you want to start thinking. Well, I personally think of programming as just a tool, and you want to become a problem solver. You want to focus on solving problems. Don't get caught up in too much of the minute details in programming. You want to be able to use programming to solve problems. So always become so always think of yourself as a problem solver. And I think that's one of the main advices that you can go into many fields and have programming on the side as well. And it's really programming becomes I think really powerful when you can combine it with another field. So if you have a lot of knowledge, say in finance, or say in math for deep learning, or modeling, or maybe electrical engineering, etc., then it becomes really powerful to combine it. When you have domain knowledge, you stand out from the rest. And so that's another suggestion I would give is get some domain knowledge. Get good at math or science or electrical engineering or somewhere, and you stand out from the rest. So even if you're doing web development and you have an understanding of financial services or what finance firms want, or I think domain knowledge goes a long way and makes you stand out from the pack. Okay, thanks. I'll check. What did I learn? So Python was just mainly self-learning. I actually started off watching a lot of YouTube videos. Then I went into, I think, books. I went through a bunch of books. But the main thing I would say is work on projects. Like, I know everyone says this, but working on projects, you learn a lot. And then once you get pretty good, what I do is, when I'm comfortable, I like to read like blogs. Some of these blogs go a lot more into detail than YouTube videos. So when I want to know a specific subject much deeper, sometimes I'll go into blogs. And GitHub, looking at other people's code is also very beneficial. So those are good habits to get into. So I started off watching a lot of YouTube videos, and after watching a bunch of videos, I started reading books, then going through blogs, and after that, just looking at a lot of GitHub. What languages have great synergy with Python? This is a tough one. What languages would have great synergy? I can't really say. Of course, you have C and C++, because of course you can do that in the back end of Python. But I guess it depends in which field you want to get into. If you want to get into data science, I guess data analytics, with Python, I know Hadoop is big. Let's see, Julia is another promising language that I've been looking into. But to say, it's hard to tell what language is the best to learn. Yeah, JavaScript, web development, software as a service is huge. I know a lot of people are trying to start businesses online. So, the best I've seen so many businesses popping up online. These freelance sites, they take a small cut. Um, so a lot of these online businesses are thriving right now, and that's, yeah, it would not hurt to learn some of these web services. But I think the jobs market, I'm not sure if it's saturated, but I know a lot of people are going into the web development field. So the low end, there's a lot of competition, but to get really good, it's tough. There's just a lot of stuff you need to know with web development. So if you can get to the higher levels, I think you'll be paid well. But always try to come up with your own projects. Try to figure out ways to create your own businesses. So if you can create your own businesses, you know, you'll work for yourself, and I think that's just the way you should do it. If you have a skill in something like web development, creating your own businesses is pretty doable, and it's really hot right now. Web services. What is JavaScript useful for? So JavaScript is mainly for web development. So nowadays, when you go onto websites, or the interactivity is all done by JavaScript. So basically, when you want to do web development, you need to know at least HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's like a little stack. And so any web development that you want to do, you kind of have to know JavaScript, especially making nice interfaces and interactivity with your website. So you can combine that with, say, something like Flask to do the backend stuff. You can combine all these HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for the front end, and then the back end you can use Flask and create some nice websites. Hey, Nuclear Lion. I think I pronounced your name right. How are you? So where are you from, Nuclear Lion? All right. I hope Swift will become popular. Yes, I think Swift will become popular. It's it's backed by Google now, so Swift for TensorFlow. So, and I've been hearing great things about the language. You have Jeremy Howard, but even besides Jeremy Howard, who does the Fast AI, when I was playing around with Swift, that was one of their developers' favorite languages. So a lot of people said they love Python and they love Swift because it's really easy to develop in. So there's also something called Vapor, I think, which powers the back end of web services, and that's also pretty popular. So so yeah, Swift will probably become more popular in the future, and I'll probably explore more Swift. Florida, I guess that's a reference to a line. I'm not sure. Are we coding on the stream? No. So this is basically just we're just going to be talking. I was actually trying to get advice as to what I can do with my YouTube channel. Ah, Florida. Okay. I thought you were making reference to being a lion. All right. Okay. So I was learning HTML in school, then I got bored, and then went to mechanical engineering. I had to take computer development or mechanical so I can graduate. All right. Mechanical engineering. I don't know what the job prospects are with mechanical engineering, but yeah, it's tough to say. Let's see. What are your interests? Are you so yeah. So it depends what your interests are. Computer development or mechanical engineering, so I can graduate. It depends what your interests are. you gotta kind of, with programming, it's tough because you have to continuously learn. You have to always be learning, and you kind of have to have a passion for it. So, but I'm pretty sure you can mix. I'm not sure about mechanical engineering, but you can mix engineering with probably some sort of programming. I know. I think electrical engineering probably uses C and C++ for embedded systems. I'm not too familiar with the daily routine or uh, the daily life of a mechanical engineer, what tools they're using. You're from Florida. Okay. Okay. So I'm actually in Florida as well now. I forgot why I subscribed, but I was hoping it was a coding stream. I'm a rookie with some Python and some C#. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I released a bunch of videos. If you find anything useful, then that's great. So check it out, yeah. If there's any suggestions as to what type of videos would be helpful, let me know. I know there's a lot of videos now on YouTube. It's kind of saturated, so I'm not sure what kind of videos would be useful for beginners like you. So let me know if there's something you're kind of not finding, and maybe I'll try to work on stuff like that. All right. So as for my channel, yeah, there's a few things I was going to try. I was going to try changing some of the thumbnails. An editor that I work with told me maybe create more interesting thumbnails so people will click more on those thumbnails. Right now my thumbnails are kind of bland, that's what he said, so I'm not sure about that. But another thing I've noticed is people are trying to, there's ways to exploit the YouTube algorithm. So what people do is they create these like 5-hour videos, learn Python in 5 hours, and what happens is those videos will start ranking, because I think the current YouTube algorithm, what it does is it bases your channel based on how long someone's been watching. So if a video, say, is 5 hours and someone just watches 1 hour, even out of those 5 hours, that total watch time will help rank your channel, so your videos start getting ranked higher, and your videos start getting suggested higher in the rankings. So yeah, so basically I think that's what they're using. That's what I've heard as well. I've talked to other YouTubers. They're kind of doing that. They're putting everything into one video, making these longer videos, and the YouTube algorithm favors that, these long videos. So one thing I might do is take some of my playlists and create like a single video. So if I did like Python iter tools, I might just combine them all together. You know, I'll make it more, I guess, fluid, because right now it's been built from scratch for a playlist, but I'll make it a little more I guess smooth, so it sounds better when I make it into a 1-2 hour video, and I'll cover all of iter tools within that 2-hour video and then release that and see how that works. And a lot of my older streams, like regular expressions and multi-threading, get a lot of hits, but I want to actually re-edit some of that. So I'll re-edit it, make it look nicer, and then put it into one video and see how that works as well. So those are a couple of things I'm going to be trying to see if that helps increase my channel channel growth. Okay. Sorry if I kind of daze off. I haven't had much sleep, so yeah, so I'm a little out of it today. But let's see. Where was I? Yeah, okay. Bland, informative thumbnails get me all the time, as long as they have the keywords visible. Okay, so basically the title is important. Oh, you mean the keywords within the thumbnail itself. Okay. Yes, I hear that many YouTubers make their videos minimum 10 minutes because it makes the system happy. Yes, It's not just 10 minutes now. You'll see 4 hours. So if you search like Python, you guys can do it right now. Most of the videos are like 3-4 hours long. For some reason, that is working currently. All right, let's see. But now that I'm in mechanics, I hate it. Should have stayed in computer. I see it's the future in the job space. At least I know how to change a tire and use solid works. Okay. Yeah, knowledge is always good. So, but if you hate it, it's hard to tell. Sometimes you hate the classes, but when you're in the field, you might enjoy it. So I would suggest you talk to people that are in the field. I know there's a pretty cool site I'll recommend you guys called Engineer Truth. He actually he what he does is he interviews people from all different types of fields, and I think he was a mechanical engineer, so he talks a lot about mechanical engineering. And so that would be a good site for you to check out, or a channel to check out, Engineered Truth. And let's see where so you can get an idea of what the daily life of a mechanical engineer looks like, because he interviews a few people in mechanical engineering, and he was a mechanical engineering engineer. So yeah, so what you might be learning, and the job itself might be completely different. So definitely check that out. But learning programming is not gonna hurt. If you're not sure what field you want to get into, I would explore different fields. Take 3 months here, take 3 months here, 3 months here. Or if you're pressed for time, go through a week through each different field. But depending on what you want to get into, there's a lot of prerequisites. Data analytics, you need to be really good at stats. But I think there's also data engineering, where you just clean up the data, and that doesn't require as much statistics. But let's see. All right, is it too late to move to another kind of engineering? Because electrical will be sweet. Yeah, electrical engineering is actually very interesting, and I heard it's also very difficult as well. That's something I'm trying to learn as well, just the basics, because I feel like it's such an interesting field. Okay. Personally, I hate annoying intros, the stereotypical dubstep type kind. Not sure what we have here, but we'll check it out. Yeah, I don't do intros. I hate intros as well. I try to just get straight to the point. Some people have suggested intros, but that's just really not my style. I just find it annoying, especially like it's cool the first time. Maybe for your like channel trailer, it's okay, but for each video having the intro is kind of annoying, because like if you've heard it a couple of times, then you don't really want to hear it over and over again. So yeah, Python and the specific in big words. All right, thank you for the advice. There was a dude doing simple little games like card games and things that can be coded quickly, and programs on Twitch, and it was interesting. Automate the boring things with Python. Yes. I actually watched his one of his streams yesterday. Al Swagart. I can't pronounce his name, but yes. Yeah. So his stream is pretty cool. He was going over how to clean up coding. So how to clean up a script and refactor it. So he took some random script from online, and he was showing how to refactor it. So he's pretty cool. Yeah. I might do some Twitch stuff. I'll have to see. I've been thinking about coding stuff, but I'll have to look into that. Starting some kind of Twitch stream. Late too late. I would have started high school and do over. Let me see. Yeah, too late nuclear. I would have to start high school all over to do it. I just graduated semester. Wait, are you physicist? Are you in high school or college? I'm a little confused. Okay. We'll be fine. But yeah, I skipped so many intros that just don't get to it quick. Okay. I'm learning basic mechanical and electrical for prototypes, having much fun. Interesting. So, I don't know much about mechanical. What software are you using to create these prototypes? But yeah, it's a really interesting field, especially when you can combine stuff with programming. Then it gets even more interesting. But mechanical is, I know one of the things I'm really interested in is in like spring action that I want to look into. Fusion 360 for 3D printing. Okay, that's, yeah, 3D printing is pretty cool as well. I want to, I don't know what the status is of metal printing, but yeah, I've been seeing some ads for metal printing. So I don't know what the if that has taken off for personal 3D printing computers, but metal printing is something I'm interested in as well. I think I have to learn a bit of C++. C, is it C++ as well? I'm not sure, but I know I was taking a course on Arduino, and I know it was primarily the course was in C. So, but yeah, I actually think a lot of this stuff is going to be the future. Robotics is going to be a big field in the future. And some of the stuff that Boston Dynamics is doing is pretty cool. But with computer vision and like some of these deep learning algorithms, the progress we've been making is going to be applied a lot to robotics, and I think robots will be able to do a lot more. Yes, that's what I'm waiting for. If metal 3D printing could be more accessible, then that's definitely in the right step, and I think that will definitely increase the popularity of 3D printing. But even the local library, I think, has a 3D printer. So um, 3D printing must be doing something right for my local library to even have a 3D printer and some courses. But yeah, if they definitely sell like a metal 3D personal printer, that would be very cool and something I definitely want to check out. I have a gimbal that holds a nice heavy surveying prism level. Could make it much stronger with steel or something. Okay, so I'll have to check out uh, the site. I was actually trying to do research for investments, but we'll see. I'm in high school, but since most private high school offer some sort of degree, when you graduate, you can choose what field you want in my school they offer. But most private school offer some sort of universe. When you graduate, you can choose. So you're kind of doing you're in high school, but you're also doing your college degree at the same time. Is that what it is? Most private school offer some sort of university degree. When you graduate, you can choose what field. Mechanical engineering, computer development, gastronomy, and tourism. Wow, those are completely different subjects. I don't know any poor mechanical engineers. Really? Hmm. I had a friend in Japan that was saying that she was having a hard time with jobs. But that's the Japanese market. I'm not sure what the job market is like there, but interesting. So, Nuclear Lion, do you have like some sort of maybe YouTube that can show off some of the stuff you've done with mechanical engineering or your hobbies, 3D printing. If you're wondering how my schedule works, it's 5 years of school. I get up from 5 in the morning and go to school till from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sometimes if I don't go home. Uh, Sometimes I don't go home. If it's just my final, just sleep in the library. Wow, that's tough. Um, but you're still in high school, so. Yeah, but I don't know what the job market like is in. You said Mexico, right? So, but don't burn yourself out. Uh, Even if you go into the wrong field, everything you learn is going to be applicable to other fields. Like I spent 4 or 5 years learning Japanese, and then that actually gave me the confidence then to go into programming, and now that gave me the confidence now I could handle math and even like biological sciences, anything. So, um, yeah, anything you learn will give you confidence. But always try to uh, learn the foundations. So in mechanical engineering, you're going to learn a lot of math, and math is applicable to many fields. So don't stress yourself out if it's a mistake you think you're making. Um, Work on skills on the side. But you have a long way. If you're still in high school, it's okay if you make a couple of mistakes. It's not the end of the world. You'll be able to switch careers. So don't stress too much. Just continue learning and learn the foundations well. All right. I have no media at all right now. Just starting really. Okay. I'm just a high school dropout truck driver. So truck driving is tough, right? I don't know. I can't sit still for so many hours. I get very. I'm like fidgety. Even here, I kind of move around. Usually when I'm programming, I'm doing something like this. Uh, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to handle truck driving. Yeah, it's a very stressful job. Like it's a hard job. People don't realize. They think you're just driving, but you have so many checkpoints. Now, if you're not think truck driving is scary. So yeah, so you have so many checkpoints, and you have to hit those checkpoints at a certain time. The the scheduling I heard is very strict. You can't go to the bathroom. You have to sort of like eat quickly a snack, and you're just in a stationary position the whole time. I know some people love driving and some people love being that, but it's a it's not a good field. And I know a lot of them get into like smoking and drinking, and because it's just so stressful, they can't handle it. So it's yeah, I heard because I was doing some reading on like different careers, and I think truck drivers have the highest rate of smokers, and um, I'm not sure drinking, but it's just they were saying how stressful the job is. So you're still truck driving, but you're trying to get out from truck driving. Okay. So you just started learning Python programming, and is there a specific field within Python programming that you want to look into, or you're interested in, potentially interested in? Okay. So you're working for your dad, who is a structural engineer. Let me look that up. I don't know exactly what a structural engineer does. Engineering consultant. What is a structural engineering? Analyzes and designs the gravity support and lateral force resistance. Okay, okay, okay. I see. Let me see. Okay. Where am I live? Okay, here we go. So structural engineering is basically developing the base and making sure, say for bridges or anything, the foundation is good. Okay. I'm done. So, okay, my first project was Autodesk Revit using the PyRevit plugin and allowing me to automate tedious tasks in Python. Autodesk Revit using the PyRevit plugin. I have not played around with this, but I'm going to look into this now. This sounds interesting. Okay. Yeah, interesting. There are a bunch of documentations and lots of material on this PyRevit. Okay, I'll have to look into that. My first project was Autodesk Revit. Okay, it grabs every structural beam, wall, column, joist, raft that imports their name and type, and qualities to another piece of structural analysis. Okay. Physicist says, you said I should try and work on group projects. Should I search on GitHub for open source one? Yeah, you can do actually both. Like, there's multiple ways. First, I would, work on a couple of personal projects. Maybe put it up on GitHub, and then you can try to look on YouTube, not YouTube, Reddit maybe. There's a lot of subreddits. Try to find people there. You can search on GitHub as well, and contact the authors. Anything. Find people kind of similar on your level, maybe a little higher, so you can learn from them. And you can also try to work with people in different fields. See what sort of problems they're having. Try to talk to people in different fields and see what kind of problems they're trying to solve and what you can use for software to automate. So there's a lot of fields that still are not using the latest technology that can really automate or help some of their sort of daily boring tasks. So yeah, definitely always try to connect with people in different fields as you get better. Right now, if you're just starting, you won't be able to solve complicated problems. So get involved in small projects, create a portfolio, create a website if you can. These are things like I wish I would have done. I'm actually working on that, creating a website, and I have my YouTube channel, but I want to show projects. So I might make a separate YouTube channel just showcasing different projects you can do in Python or I've done in Python. But you want to have all this, you want to have like a resume, an online resume showing what you've done and what you're capable of. Now, if you're strictly trying to, if you're strictly looking for a job and want to get some sort of job and stability, it's best to try to work in a field and get really good at one field. You can learn a little bit on the side, but you want to stand out of the pack. Learning too many things, it's hard to get really good at one thing. And if someone wants to hire you, they want to hire you because you're good at that one thing. It's basically when you get hired, for the most part, unless you're a really top engineer that knows so many things, but when you're going to get hired, if you're good at one thing, then they could fit you. It's basically different components to a company, and they'll just fit you within the team. So everything's a team game. So if you get good at one thing, then you can be specializing in that, and you'll be one of the components of the team, and they can get the other components for other parts. Let's see. PyRevit allows you to use Python to do C stuff, allowing me to easy. Okay. So it's connecting with C#. Right. Do you have a Twitch channel yet? No, not yet. This is actually the first time I'm doing anything live. It's pretty cool that you get to talk to people in real time, so it's pretty interesting. But I want to do a Twitch channel. I'm actually trying to do like I'm trying to study every day for at least a couple of hours. So I'll be doing a lot of math stuff. So maybe I'll live stream the studying as well. People might find that boring though, but maybe people will study along with me. But I want to do um, like 100 days of something or 300 days of studying, or basically I want to be able to study 2 hours every day, the AI stuff. So right now I've been doing linear algebra, and once I get really good at that, go on to the next math field, then the one after that, etc. All right. Looks interesting. What does it have? Nuclear. It's a more modern way to CAD design a building. Ah, building information management. Okay. Ah, really? Chill live stream. There are even people who stream their workday. It's kind of like light social activity while working. Interesting. Yeah, that's what I like. Chill streams, um, especially like so usually if I do like programming stuff like that, I like to take breaks. I don't like long streams. I like to take breaks. I take like say 45 minutes, an hour. I like to go do a little quick workout, come back, or do a little walk. So I like to take breaks, and that'll probably be kind of uh, boring, especially if you're doing like a live coding stream. Um, but a chill stream is something I think I'll feel more comfortable with. Even a chill coding stream. Um, PIM. The building is now a database. Every element has parameters. The walls have their fire code ratings, density, material composition, thermal properties, etc. Every element of a building has its own information. Even its own wall is interesting. So for 3D printing, mainly AutoCAD is being used, right? Is that the software? The blueprints are created in AutoCAD? All right. Actually, let me write this down. So Fusion 360 and SolidWorks. And unless you make over 100K with your designs, it's free. Interesting. All right. Yeah, 3D printing is something I definitely want to look into. Yeah, so I'm not even sure exactly how the process works with 3D printing, so it'll be a great learning experience for me. But yeah, I can't wait till we get more. Right now, everything is still done in plastic, right? You can't have um, something, say, out of clay or more of a solid structure, I'm assuming. Let's see. Fusion 30 gauge, you can basically go up. Since I take mechanical engineering, they showed us AutoCAD SolidWorks. Are you on Discord or similar? Uh, I'll be happy to hang out if I can help. There are nylon filaments too, but ABS plastic is pretty strong. Okay, are you talking to me or are you talking to physics with the Discord? If so, I have Discord. Should I just share it on this thing? Or should I... Yeah, contact me through my business email, nuclear line, within YouTube. Because if I share it here, I think this stream gets recorded onto my channel, and then I don't know if people will troll me on Discord, but if you, I think you could contact me through my business email on YouTube. Wow, your school also has a 3D printer. Have you made anything interesting or useful? Let me see. Alright, you can contact me there. Let's see. Where would the email be? Okay, 3D printing filament is about $20 per kg. I don't know how much how much kg you need to do things, but let's see. If we're gone, use better material. We sometimes use industrial grade plastic, very expensive, like $20 a meter. $20 a meter. That sounds kind of expensive. But I don't know how much plastic is needed to do things. Wow, you printed a mini car transmission. Took a data print. Alright, cool. Alright, so I'll check my email later today. And I'll add you on Discord. So is there a specific field you're kind of getting interested in? Nuclear line in Python? Oh, live streaming is pretty cool that you can just talk real time. It's the first time I'm actually doing this, but I'm interested in not being broke right now. Yes. So I have a friend actually who's doing a 3-month intensive boot camp. So I'll see. But he's mainly focusing on web development. He's doing the JavaScript, HTML, CSS stack, but they're kind of hardcore. He's telling me he's doing around 12 hours a day, and he's also doing like projects on the weekends by himself. So we'll see if that translates to him actually finding a job after the 3-month boot camp. But he's learning a lot, and I've been consistently keeping in touch with him. So we shall see. Maybe that might be a really quick way to get a job. I'm not sure how these boot camps are. I just recently got treated for ADHD and it's made all the difference. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, that I've heard a lot. That some people, huge difference when they're getting medicated. It's like night or day. So you must have drank a lot of coffee. I hear that a lot of people with ADHD need a lot of coffee to try to function. Okay. 100 mg. So, do you have any sort of side effects? I think people have to be careful what time they take some of these stimulants, right? Like I can't take any stimulants. I'm actually the opposite. I'm like more anxious. So if I take coffee, I can't even take coffee. That gets me kind of too wired. Well, used to. I haven't tried coffee in like years. I don't drink coffee. Um, so because a lot of that stuff just gets me kind of, yeah, it gets me anxious and paranoid. So I don't really drink coffee. But from what I hear, things like Adderall, you have to be careful with your sleep. In terms of, you have to be careful if you take it during the evening. I have an inattentive type ADHD, lack of focus, lack of. Yeah, I think I have the complete opposite. Um, lack of focus, like well, not the complete opposite, but I'm more of an anxious person. So taking any of those stimulants will probably drive me crazy. If I take coffee, I start to shiver like crazy. All right, yeah. So you're probably more similar to me. Um, so probably more on the anxious side. I also can't tune out music or distractions well. Oh, okay. I think I understand what you're saying. So your mind kind of, if you start hearing music, it'll start going with the music instead. Um, so when you're concentrating, it starts picking up all these other things, other noises. I'm assuming, and it starts sort of going into a flow with the music or going into a flow with the other noise or some external distraction. Is that kind of what you're describing? Just had an Amazon warehouse house and literally quit because of the trust me. Okay, so yeah, among a ton of other things. Yeah, Amazon warehouse is another tough job I heard. Especially they've been getting a lot of bad sort of uh, uh, news or just publicity. All right, ADHD characterized among other things. Okay, so what will you do on YouTube from now on? So, so the first thing I'll do is, let's see, I'm going to two things. I'm thinking about. I don't know if I should try new thumbnails. So I will look into thumbnails and see if try to hire someone because I don't think I'll be able to do fantastic thumbnails. But see if I can change my thumbnails and that will help try to grow the channel. The other thing I can do is I'm going to try refactoring uh, all of my playlists into one big sort of long video and see if that helps improving the YouTube search rankings. So that's another thing I could do. I'm going to fix up some of the older videos and clean it up, add some animations, clean up the audio quality, make it one long video, and put that up and see if that helps. So that's number 2. Number 3 is thank you. So yes, you should really focus on changing your thumbnails. Okay, yeah. So someone told me my thumbnails are really bad. So yeah, that's something I'll try to do as well. All right, I'm sitting down now. Hopefully that I'm still in the stream. Okay, but yeah, that's something I guess I'll focus on if you guys are all saying it. A distinctive logo would probably help too. Yeah, I actually had hired someone to do a logo, but then I got caught up with all this other work that I didn't finish it up. So a distinctive logo is also something I'll do. They're good for nerds like me, but I doubt the rest of YouTube. The thumbnails, what do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. But yeah, so the other thing is, well, I'll look into MicroPython because that's something that sounds cool. And I don't know if I should focus on more. There's so many things in Python that are pretty cool. There's certain modules that not too many people know of. So people are releasing modules or frameworks that are not so well known that can do things. That might be something interesting. Then there's scripts just to accomplish things. If you want to do a certain task, you can use Python to do it. So that's something else I'm potentially looking into. I might, for hardcore like courses, I might just put together courses for like Udemy or Teachable, I think, Teachable, and do like hardcore courses there. I know there's the market is, or YouTube is getting kind of saturated with Python tutorials. There's a lot of people making tutorials. So maybe I should focus on more like script-like stuff. I'm not really sure. There are other languages I'm also interested in. Julia, which I think will be used a lot in scientific and data science, machine learning as well. Then there's a low language going from Python to Rust instead of C, C++. Rust is like the new thing now for systems programming, and so I could potentially make another channel. I'm not really sure. Okay, at least a bit better. All right, no bit Photoshop. So, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm actually going to try to hire someone for like 4 or 5, and then we'll see. I'll get you guys feedback and see if they're much better. It's hard to tell. What I've noticed is my simpler videos have been gaining a lot more traction. So the recently like logging, I spent a lot of time on logging, mainly the animations. I'm also very sort of a perfectionist into, I think a lot about how people try to learn. So I try to make learning as easy as possible. So I create I work a lot on the animations as to if it's easy to understand, and because I feel like visualization helps a lot with learning. So the logging video didn't do as well, and the string formatting hasn't done as well. The Panda series hasn't done as well. But some of the simpler videos have been doing well, like shuttle, like file management, the continue break pass, that does well as well. But I think that's just because it's ranking high. Maybe logging, there's too many videos, so it's hard to get ranked. So I know Corey Schaefer. So I like Corey Schaefer. I actually, we discussed things. But I know his ranking. He's done logging. He's ranked high. But then there's a bunch of other people that are also have done logging videos that are ranking above mine. I checked the ranking, and I think my logging videos are like page 2. So I'm not sure if it's just saturation or the other metric I have to look into. I think people watch it for a few seconds and then they stop watching it. So that's another metric I think YouTube looks into. If people watch something for a few seconds and then they stop watching it, it brings down your search ratings or your search rankings. Sorry. Teach me this stuff. I'm not going to miss for college. Trust me, there's a lot of computer science concepts. Coursera, EDX. I've gone through so many courses. Just like where with a lot of these concepts. So there's a lot of actually material for that stuff if you want to learn computer science concepts. Operating systems as well. If you look at Coursera, EDX, and there's also an institution called IIT. It's an Indian institution, but they've been releasing a lot of stuff, and their quality is getting better. So, you know, I was watching their deep learning video course, and they did a pretty good job explaining some of the things that other courses didn't really explain well. So just focus on things other people don't do and make things interesting. Yeah, so I'm trying to find a sort of a niche. What I usually do is I don't really plan anything out. I usually, like, if I encounter something like logging, I wanted to get a better understanding of it. So I did a deep dive into it, and so that's how I created logging. So like recently, I've been working on a Git. So I'm reading. I've been reading a few books and bunch of blogs. You know, I've prepared half the course. I was going to just release a mini video, but now it's like turning into a full-blown course, because there's so much to learn. So anything I usually just pick up, I try to create a video on. But sometimes I'll do a video or do a course, and then I'll stop halfway because I don't know, and then I'll just move on to something else. So I have to finish some of these projects. I have a lot of scripts that I've written that I haven't completed. So let's see. Like I told you, most people don't even know what MicroPython is. Yeah, or CircuitPython. Yeah, it's actually, I've been wanting to do this for a while. Look into Arduino and things like that. I was actually going to do a simple project which I started, which is I lived near a busy intersection, or not intersection, but a busy street, and I wanted to use like some sort of Arduino webcam and count the amount of cars that are going by. That was a project I was working on, but counting cars with it's not just object detection; it's a complicated algorithm. So it was taking me longer than I wanted. Let's see, is this microcircuit Python something I could use instead of C++ for my Arduino? Yeah, so this seems to be Python seems to be Python related, but it's also, yeah, so it seems to be written in C though. I think the Python code is written in C. I had checked earlier when Physis recommended it. Learning with MicroPython. Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll look into how much the circuits cost as well. Maybe order a couple of things. I know they have some sensors with plants, I'm assuming. Like you can automatically water your plants. I've been hearing that a lot, which is pretty cool, as one of my plants needs to be watered probably more frequently. I don't know. Nuclear line. MicroPython is like Arduino, but it runs on Python code. If you understand the basics of Arduino, you can most likely use MicroPython. Wow, they use IronPython as well. So IronPython is written in Java, NetPython, CPython, and it's compiled into NetPython. I'm not sure. I've never heard of that NetPython implementation. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't really used C sharp much. Or Objective C. Oh, this is C sharp. Then there's. All right, thanks, Physis, for stopping by, and thank you for all of the suggestions. So the first thing I'll do is work on the thumbnails. That's actually something I've been meaning to do. So I'll look into hiring someone and get those done. All right, so I'm using .NET functions and stuff to call Revit features in my script. Ah, interesting. So it's basically a wrapper around all of Python. And it's using a lot of different implementations, which is pretty crazy. So there must be Java used as well. Python, C Python. But yeah, and also always you can keep in touch with me through comments. Let me know what you guys think. But this live stream is pretty cool. You can direct message in YouTube. I did not know that. All right, I'll have to look into that. Yes, I'll get in touch with you, Physicist. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. All right. Let's see. So I think I should call it an end to this stream. If you guys have any more suggestions, so the first thing I learned was MicroPython. But if you guys have any more suggestions, just let me know. So MicroPython thumbnail. I'll put together the long videos. Twitch, I'll do some casual Twitch streaming. I'll be doing my maybe 1,000 days of deep learning or whatever. But I'm planning to get really hardcore into the studying for AI and all the mathematics stuff. And I'll be playing around with the Raspberry Pi microcontroller stuff as well. So maybe I'll do Twitch streams. I'm not sure. Or maybe YouTube live streams. I'm not really sure what the difference is. This is my first time doing a live stream. So I'm not sure how the Twitch experience is, but all right. So yeah, Physis. We'll see you later, and thank you, Physis, for the feedback and all. All right. So if you guys don't have any more suggestions, in a couple of minutes, I think I'll close out this stream. Wow, it's been almost 2 hours, I think. Wow, it's crazy. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, not sure if there's a lag, but let's see. I'll just wait until 2 more minutes. Yes, I'll wait 2 more minutes just to close out this stream. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I'm not really sure what that symbol means. What is this? Is that raising your hands? All right, thank you, Akira. So Akira was from Greece, and Physis is from Mexico, and Nuclear Line from Florida. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the support and the comments, Akira. Um, so, yeah, and thank you for watching the chat. We'll be checking out the library. All right, so 30 more seconds. Yeah, actually call in interviews. I actually that sounds like a fun thing. I have a few cousins, web development, machine learning, and there's a product manager for some pretty decent companies. So, yeah, I actually think I'll do well with the interviews. Those are fun to me. So that's something I find that people might find informative as well. So we'll see. That's something I may do as well. All right. All right. So yeah. So thanks a lot, Nuclear Line. You gave me some good suggestions, and the other people with the thumbnails. We had uh, Gizly. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Gizly. But you've also written some comments. I remember, I think, regular expressions and I think mistakes Python beginner makes. You've also made some comments there, if I remember correctly. But anyway, yeah. So thank you guys. I'm going to be closing out the stream. Thanks everyone for watching and for all of the suggestions. All right. Close out the stream is OBS, I think.